YouTube, what's up? Back again for another daily fishing video here on Andrew Upshaw Fishing. Today we're going to break down day number 2 of the Bassmaster Open on Smith Lake. You know, obviously if you watch day 1's video, you saw I didn't catch them very good. I caught a couple fish, just didn't have the day that I wanted, and didn't really make very good decisions. Day 2, though, I definitely rebounded, adjusted my game plan, made some better decisions. And that's what our whole game is about. You know, you can talk about catching bass and do all these things, and catching bass is an extremely big part of it, but making really good decisions is even bigger, in my opinion. I mean, I could be wrong, and some people might tell me that I am, but if you make bad decisions, you're not ever going to catch any bass. So all you can do is put yourself around them and make the very best decisions that you can. But hey, real fast though, if you haven't subscribed to this YouTube channel, make sure you do so. It's super, super easy. It's in the bottom right-hand corner. I'd love to have you join the team. You know, everybody's here. We're basically a big old family. I have a lot of the same guys commenting every time, so I really do appreciate all of your guys' support. So let's just go ahead and jump right on into day 2. You know, day 2, unlike day 1, we weren't fog delayed nearly as long. I think we only were out maybe 30 to 45 minutes, at most an hour. I don't even remember exactly, but it wasn't a very long fog delay, and I actually had a fairly early number. I think it was like boat 60 something. And so that helped. You know, I got a little bit longer than the guys that were 60 something the day before, because, you know, obviously we didn't even take off until about 9 o'clock on the first day. So right there, that was better. The other thing that was better that day is that they were predicting sunshine all day. The day before we had a bunch of clouds. It was just kind of that weird foggy day, all day fog. And those kind of days, man, they've always kind of had my number. I've always struggled on days like that because it's such an adverse condition. You know, it's not actually cloudy. You know, it wasn't windy at all. And you know, it was a high pressure day. So it's just kind of a weird situation. So hats off to anybody that did catch them on day 1. But day 2, I started out on a topwater stretch that I'd had a few bites on in practice. And a couple big bites, or I felt like they were big ones. I pull up through there, nothing. Which I was not really that surprised. My co-angler did catch a keeper on a walking bait. And, you know, you talk about, like, putting clues together. I should have put a clue together right there, and I didn't do it. He caught that particular fish on a bluff, like a bluff bank in a pocket. And I just didn't put 2 and 2 together. I should have ran more of that. Later on, I talked to Todd Castledine, and he'd caught quite a few doing that on that particular pattern, is running those like steeper banks in those pockets. Because in practice, all of us were catching them on really, really flat things. And obviously, when the water came up, the fish kind of vacated that flat stuff, and I feel like went over to that steep stuff, and that's where they started eating. Anyways, I went through there, nothing. Went to a deep spot, and I caught a couple little short fish, and I mean like little short fish. Missed another one. Caught another non-keeper. And that's when I made my decision. You know, obviously on day 1, I kind of stuck to the live scope game. I stayed out there on those herring eaters. I really tried to make that herring bite work, because I knew that was going to be in my opinion, the best way for me to catch a big bag each day consistently. But I knew if I wanted to catch a competitive bag, one that's going to move me way up in the standings on day 2 after everything's been beat on, that was going to be using a jig on docks. I'd had a good practice fishing a jig on docks, and I just finally, that second day, I was like, you know what, screw it. I'm going to fish some good stuff, and I'm going to go just run as many docks as I can for a few hours, see if it works, and if it doesn't, you know what am I really out? So I run my first set of docks, and I skip my jig up here on this one front corner. And it's early. It's like 9 o'clock, 9:30, something like that. The sun was just now starting to peak and get some good, shadows on the docks. Get a really good bite, and set the hook, have it for a second, it comes off. And I'm like, gosh dang it. Oh my gosh! Like, I knew how big it was going to be for me to, if I caught 5, I knew for a fact, if I caught 5 fish in this particular day, I was going to move up an enormous amount. Well, I lose that one, and I'm like, dang it, like, you can't lose them today. Like, if any day, you can't lose them today. Well, I round the corner, and I go to some shaded docks, and I'm getting bites, and I'm like, we need to get back out in that sun, because it's positioning these fish right. So we round the corner, go to another set of docks. Oh, there's a big one. Oh, he's not that big. Maybe a keeper.
Ooh, he's gonna be, he's keeper.
I think it's a keeper.
Oh yeah, he's 16. Get this rod out of your way. He's back 6.
First dock I skip up under, I catch a keeper. First keeper of the day, it's a 15.5 incher. Nothing big, just largemouth. And I fish through there. My coin lure catches a couple non-keepers. Catches one almost keeper on drop shot. There he is. Oh, big one.
Pulling you good, ain't it?
Oh yeah, that's a good one. He spit out a worm.
There you go. That's a nice one there.
Yeah, that is.
About 2.5.
Yeah, he's probably
2.25.
Yeah, he choked it too. Oh,
Yeah, that's good.
there we go. And around the corner, and I see this log. Well, I skip on the darkest shade first, and nothing. And I scanned over my live scope, and at the very end of this dock, there was this big lay down log. It wasn't a brush pile, it was just a log. And I was like, man, no, they're not gonna be on that shade. They're gonna be on that log, no doubt. I pitched my jig down there to that log, get a bite, set the hook, and I knew it was a good one right off the bat, and it was. It was probably one of my biggest of the day. I actually had 2 that were pretty close in size. They're about 2 to 2.25 to 2.5 pounds. It probably got closer to 2.5. I mean, it was a big fish. I land this fish, and I've got two fish at like 10 o'clock, and I'm like, heck yes. Like, I finally made some good decisions. I've got a lot of time left. I'm going to be able to catch them fishing these docks all day. So I run around. I run to another set of docks, or another dock, an isolated dock. I catch a non-keeper, and I mean, like, it was a hair short. I mean, that was it. It was just a hair short. Oh, wasn't patient enough right there. I worked it out just like 2 hops and then tried to reel it in and ate it. He's bigger than I thought he was.
Yeah.
I mean, I still don't think he keeps, but he was definitely bigger than I was expecting.
One of them little old 14, 13.5.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Got it.
That's a good one. Maybe, oh
It's gonna be a close one, isn't it?
yeah. Yeah, he's fat too. No, I don't think he's long enough.
I don't either. It's like that one I had not too long ago.
And the problem was, so where the area I was fishing, I knew Hallman was up this particular arm, and he'd had a bang-up day. I mean, he had 11.5 pounds, whatever it was. And I knew what he was doing, and it was real similar to what I was doing. So I get like a quarter of the way up this creek, and I was like, man, I know if I keep going that way, I'm going to probably get more bites on dogs. But the only problem was that I didn't want to run into Hallman and screw up his deal. And so that was in the back of my mind this whole time, and I lose another one. It wasn't I mean, I don't know how big it was. It wasn't a small one. And I'm like, you know what? I've got to make a move. So I left that area and went all the way up Rock Creek to a set of docks that I had up there. And of course, along the way, I stop on a few herring places, and it sucks me right on in. And I waste about an hour and a half trying to run, or probably 2 hours running this herring stuff. And I catch a couple short fish, and that's about the extent of it. And I hit a point where I was like, I have to go hit some docks. I've only got about an hour and a half, 2 hours left in my day, because I was a 15 to 20 minute run up this creek. So of course I go to my docks, or some more docks that I had in that general area. And it wasn't like the second dock I skip up under, I lose what I think is a decent one. I'm not real sure. I mean, I did lose it though. And I'm like, dang it, like I can't keep losing these fish. And the deal is what Hallman and I figured out, because we had some missed opportunities like that, is all we could think is those spots, those bigger spots, they would clamp down on your jig so hard that when you set the hook on them, they were just clamped on it, and then they'd swim like 4 or 5 feet, and then they just spit it out because they never got a hook in them because they were just clamped on it so hard. But then I kind of eased to the next dock, and I never even fished these docks before. I just started rolling some different docks, and I had a set that I wanted to fish, but I was just going to kind of work everything to it. Oh my God, I just broke him off.
Really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
I saw like 4 or 5 sitting on that cable.
I was ready to ask you if you seen any fish in there.
Yeah.
Mercy.
I go to the next dock, and I see like 4 of them suspended on a cable on my live scope. And I pitch my jig down there, and I'm just feeding it line, letting it fall vertical down that cable, and I can see the fish just arcing up to it. And they go down to the bottom. I pick up, it's heavy. I set the hook. He wraps me on the cable and breaks me off, and it felt like a really good one. And I just was, it really spun me out, because it's just like, man, like, what in the heck do I have to do to catch these freaking bass? I mean, it was just really frustrating. So I finally go to my stretch of docks that I'd had some bites off of, that I was really, really confident on. I pull up to a dock short of the dock that I wanted to fish. Got 3 bites off of it.
There's one.
That's a good one. Please keep.
Right.
What? He's like the fattest, shortest fish ever.
Better measure him. I think you're right, though. I think.
In the heck, dude? Look how fat that thing is. Skip up under there, one eats it, set the hook, and I'm like, that's a good one. Get it in, and it's 1/8 of an inch short. I mean, I almost put it in the box. See, every one of you tournament guys, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You've had that one that you're like, if I put him in there, will he grow that 1/8 of an inch? And most of the time they don't. Sometimes they do. It just kind of depends if they're really stressed out or something like that. But in this case, it was a largemouth. If it had been a spotted bass, I might have chanced it a little bit, just because spots get so stressed out when you catch them that they will shrink up a bit. Largemouth, I haven't really ran into that as much with largemouth, but I threw him back because he didn't keep. And so I went to the next dock where I really thought I was going to catch one. I catch a little one. It had like 4 or 5 brush piles around it. We fished through there a little ways. We rolled back across to the other side, and there was like 3 flat sections on this other side. And it seemed like, you know, when I talk about when the water comes up, go to the steep stuff, and all, but for whatever reason on the docks, it was the opposite. Instead of going to the steep docks, the deeper water docks, you had to go to the shallow docks, the ones that had like 7, 8, 9, 10, at most like 15 foot of water underneath them. And that's kind of where I got most of my bites. And so I roll over to this side, and I want to say I broke off another one. Yeah, I think I broke off another one over there. And I was like, dang it. Like, and I know I lost another one over there. And then I pull up in this one dock. Like there was like 5 docks in a row right here. But this one dock looked different. It was stuck out just a little bit further. It had a little bit more shade on it. The dock was closer to the water. It just was a special dock. And I knew it when I saw it. So I fished it kind of hard. I fished the front corners, sides, and I skipped between the pontoon boat. Yeah, I'm ready to go to Grand too, just to get it over with. I know it's bad, but it's been a long year, man.
I bet.
I've been on the road the last month and a half. Haven't seen my son in a month and a half.
I was going to say, you got a wife or kids? Or?
I have a wife and a 6-year-old.
Yeah.
It's been a sacrifice, there's no doubt.
Yeah.
And that's when my wife was, you know, she was very big on me doing it, you know. I mean, you only get so many opportunities to make the elites.
That's true.
And be in the position that I was in, and still in, I mean, technically.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that just didn't come around every year, so.
There's one. Fighting you good.
Yeah, I think that's a big one. Oh, yeah.
Don't think we got to measure that boy.
Nope, I don't think so either.
I think we got to measure him.
There we go, Kane. That one's for you, buddy. And I was just talking to my co-angler about being on the road a lot, and yeah, it was hard. You know, being on the road so much, missing some of what my son does, and it's really hard on me. And so catching that fish for Kane was a really big deal because, I don't know, it just meant something. It meant something even more than the tournament. It just like, it was him saying, hey, Dad, here's you an extra fish. I know you need it really bad right now. Well, I catch this 2.5 pounder, and I don't know, and it was just hard. So I right when I'm catching this fish, I have a boat pass me, and they kind of set down like 2 docks down, 3 docks down, something like that. Well, I skip around that dock, and what I should have done is keep fishing that one dock, because obviously there was going to be more fish there. Well, I go down the next dock, and I'm skipping, and this boat comes in on high behind me, like on high. Like, they are coming to this dock. They want that dock. But the guy passes the dock and goes the walkway. And he literally just stops on the walkway and starts fishing. And I'm like, dang it. I knew immediately that I'd screwed up, because this guy knew something that I didn't know. And he knew that on this walkway there was either a brush pile log, piece of metal, something down there underneath this walkway, because he was dead set, determined to go fish it. And sure enough, he did, and he catches a big one, like, I don't know, 3 something, behind me on that particular walkway. And I didn't skip the walkway. It was one of those real long walkways, and I probably screwed up there. He got to catch that fish, and he left. Like, I think he might have fished like 1 more dock and left. Well, I fished a couple more, and I didn't catch any. And I grinded it out to the end, man. I mean, I pulled up to the last spot, and I had like 3 minutes left, and I'm skipping docks hard, and I worked hard, guys. And I ended up with 3 fish. I had plenty. When I say plenty, I mean plenty of opportunities to have a big day. I mean, literally, I weighed in 2 2.5 pounders. I weighed in a 15-incher. I think I weighed in like 5 3/4 pounds, something like that. I don't even remember exactly what it was. But I mean, I had 2 of the right ones. If I catch 2 more of the right ones, I move from 80-something place to like 40th. You know, like 30th. You know, it was very tight. And so, anytime you leave a lot of points on the table, it's hard, it's frustrating, and that tournament was no different for me. It was a very frustrating day. The nice thing is that we have 1 tournament left. This particular tournament, if I want to make the Elite Series, I've got to finish really good. And I mean, when I say good, I mean like top 3, top 5. And even if I make the top 5, which is a big feat in any tournament, I've got to depend on like 2 or 3 guys to really suck. Like, I need like 2 or 3 guys to just do terrible. And I don't ever wish ill will on my competitors. But for me to make the Elite Series, that's what I need. So, we're going out swinging on this last tournament. I'm going to pick up some real big baits. I'm going to try to be different than everybody. I'm not going to do the same thing everybody else is doing, because you rarely ever win doing the same thing everybody else is doing. So, yeah, I'm going to go try to win this tournament. And if I do, great. If I don't, you know, I gave it my best. I've had a wonderful year. I've had a great time sharing my experiences with you guys. Talk about a year of up and downs. I've had great tournaments and I've had terrible tournaments. And not a lot of in between. So, but I am thankful for that. But guys, I hope y'all have enjoyed this video. I don't want to keep y'all too long, because I know I'll keep y'all too long sometimes. So I hope y'all enjoy it, and I'll see you on the next video.